Since the dawn of eternity, 4 lights of hope have shone upon the world. Men flock to these lights, around which they build 4 peristylia. Each peristylium becomes their faith and society, the path upon which they are set. The vermilion bird, wings of fire to lift the heart. The white tiger, steely arms by which to seize knowledge. The azure dragon, unclouded eyes that see all beneath the sky. The black tortoise, a rigid shield and a well-guarded blade. But when 9 and 9 meet 9, Tempest Phoenix shall be willed upon them. For without the Agita, their world, called Orient, must persist in its spiral.
In this time of absolute darkness, we must unite to bring forth the light of hope. The time has come. Yes, this is the dawn of a new age.
And so the Milites Empire, home to the White Peristylium, invaded the neighboring dominion of Rubrum. As soon as the declaration of war was made, the Militesi main fleet swarmed into all corners of Rubrum. At the same time, a separate fleet was charged with a sneak attack on the Vermilion Peristylium. A lessee accompanied this task force. Using a lessee to invade a sovereign state was a direct violation of the Pax Codex, a treaty created by all 4 crystal states of Orient. The besieged Peristylium attempted to repel Milites' Magitech armors with powerful magic. Not even the mighty warships could withstand the awesome power of the summoned Eidolons. It seemed that the Militesi offensive would fail. However, the lessee Kunmi led a special unit past Rubrum's defenses and activated a new weapon, the Crystal Jammer, neutralizing the power of the Vermilion Bird Crystal. Severed from the source of their magical powers, the Rubrum forces were quickly overwhelmed and overrun. Imperial Marshal Sid Olstein demanded of Chancellor Kalia Cheval VI, the leader of Rubrum, that he surrender and transfer the Vermilion Bird Crystal to Militesi control.
Your crystal cannot protect you. Resistance is no longer an option. You have 6 hours. You must comply with our demands, or face the full might of our forces. In which case, I promise you, the roads of Rubrum will run red with the blood of her people.
May the crystal guide them to salvation.
horizon shall stir. When the seal of creation is broken, a voice like thunder shall sound, and thou shalt know. We have arrived.
Alright, I watched the intro twice to try to make sense of it because it is dense with new nouns and places and locations and religious things potentially and stuff like that. So it looks like we're dealing with some kind of world that has 4 kingdoms, very much akin to, say, Avatar with the elements and everything, where each one has their own little focus. There was one in particular, there was clearly like a turtle nation that has their weird little shields. Actually, it has sort of a Monster Hunter vibe to it. We had the repeated use of this when 9 and 9 meet 9, which sounds like noise and nonsense, but maybe it'll make more sense as we proceed forward. My first guess would be that it involves suits of cards, because I know that the squad in this game is named after cards, more or less. But that's what's weird about when 9 and 9 meet 9 is that a deck of cards is supposed to have four suits, and this one has apparently 3. It's starting again. Whoops. The part where there's only 3 9s is where I guess where it throws me off a little bit, because that seems strange to me. Whoops. So I guess we'll see if it makes more sense as we go on. I'm a little thrown off by the fact that they apparently said things like Eidolon and Lassie, which seems strange to me because those are both things about Final Fantasy XIII, which kind of makes sense because this game was originally announced as Final Fantasy XIII Agito, which when they changed the name, I thought they dumped the Agito part altogether, but the fact that they said Agito in the intro means that that's still a thing. They just changed the name to Type-0 for reasons that may become clear over time, or maybe never will, because we know that Square Enix will make games that with like Dream Drop Distance and stuff like that, where the name, okay, sure, why not? Pick that name, go ahead. But anyway, originally they announced Final Fantasy XIII as a trilogy. It was going to be Final Fantasy XIII, the infamous game with lightning, Final Fantasy XIII Agito, which is this game, which became Type-0, and Final Fantasy XIII Versus, which has now been turned into Final Fantasy XV, which has a demo bundled with this game, so we'll be getting to that in a moment. The concern here is they're talking about Lassie and Eidolons. My first reaction would be to say, oh, so this takes place in the same universe as 13, which is kind of a bummer because a lot of us don't like 13 very much, and I was kind of hoping for not that. But it could be that they're just latching onto Eidolons and Lassie as concepts and crystals and so on, because this is the Fabula Nova Crystallis, if I'm saying that correctly, trilogy, which means that they might just be using them as common themes, because throughout the Final Fantasy series we have Cid, we have chocobos, we have airships, like there's all these, even though they're completely separate worlds and stories, at least most of the time, there's still connecting tissue, so it could be that this has nothing to do with the world or story of 13, but still uses specific concepts from it, and maybe even repurposes them as part of their weird definition of what they consider to be a trilogy. Sort of like the trilogy of Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and we're at World's End, I suppose. Where it's like, well, there's tiny connecting tissue, I guess we'll just call it a trilogy for some reason. What I found interesting in that intro is that we had a militant nation attacking a magic-oriented nation, and they had summons defending the place, and they were defending it with magic. The military used, they called it some sort of crystal bomb or something. It was another name to remember in a cutscene that had 50 names, so it's going to go right through my head until later. But it was the equivalent of a magic EMP, which certainly caught my guard, because that's it's like an anti-electronic type attack, but they used it for magic, and that's kind of an interesting context. So this game, for those that don't know, previously exclusive to Japan on the PlayStation the PSP, or PlayStation Portable. I can't mix those two together. It came out exclusive to Japan on the PSP originally, and now we're just now getting it in the US. So while it says HD, that's really the only version we've had so far. But let's get this started and see if the game, in a more of a drip feed fashion, will make more sense than the rapid fire cutscene with too many names did. So they want me to pick a difficulty level. The options are Cadet, Officer, and Agito. Cadet says it's recommended for first-time players, but I don't really think I want to play on easy necessarily. Whereas at Jito, enemy level plus 30, kind of terrifying when I don't know what the game even plays like. So we're going to go with Officer as a hopefully safe middle ground. Start the game in intermediate. Yes, that's what I clicked on. You got it.
For them, the path was not chosen.
They chose their path,
Yes. Not knowing the fear of death.
having never learned the fear of confronting it.
Chapter 1. War. 3 hours that changed the world.
Still have a ways to go. Is everyone all right? Have you seen a guy? A guy with a red cape?
No, I haven't. You?
Visual! Kill them! What's that?
Teachery. Okay, stay with me. Ace, I'm coming. My eyes. I have to find Ace. Teacher. Teacher. Damn. Ace.
I'm here! I'm right here.
Isana.
It's too late.
I know that.
I know I could count on you. Juche. Let's rest. A while. I always thought that your name was weird. I'm telling you, Machina must have pulled that one out of a hat. What do you think, girl? Is this the end? Machina. Stay strong. Rem. I would have liked to see you again. JJ. I'm glad that you're here with me. No. I don't want to die.
Well, that was definitely quite the intro. I'm actually finding myself immediately more engaged and interested in what's going on than I was in most of 13, to be honest, because that game starts you off on a train, and you're like, hey, you're some brooding girl. Alright, let's go fight some dudes. Alright, these guys are bad because reasons. Get out of here! And like, 2 hours into the level, 2 hours into the game, suddenly if you read some codex entries, you can kind of get what the struggle's about. While I may not understand the overall struggles from a large perspective, I get the sense that we have a team here, and there's actual loss and camaraderie here, and we're dealing with mortality, and that we actually had a really touching scene there that makes you care about these people as individuals more so than Lightning and her ability to stare off into the distance and look stern ever really did. But let's see how this combat goes, because I guess that's where we're probably about to start. The life armlet grants you re-raise status. Yeah, we're probably gonna need the tutorial. Alright. So, move with left stick, look with right stick, press right stick to reset your view.
Class 0, respond.
Class 0 here.
Good. The comm arrived safely. Praise be unto the warrior who lost his name. I am Kurasame. I'll be your CO. Your objective: locate the Empire's crystal jammer. Then neutralize it to restore the crystal.
Understood.
May the crystal guide you.
Kupo?
Mission orders, Kupo. Go through the gate to the terrace square. Oh. Do I get to read? Oh, go through the gate, Kupo. Apparently if you pause the game does not pause. That's good to know. Press square, draw your weapon and attack. Adjust the button layout from the field menu. Wow, I've already lost most of my hit points just like that. Okay, so square is playing cards. X is cut cards. What does that do? Am I just spawning cards to use on people, perhaps? Ooh. So it looks like they have individual effects. They might be random, though. Do they heal me, or are they just offensive? As far as I can tell, you don't get to pick them. They're just random. So I don't think I get to have any control over which one shows up. Some of them may be healers. Alright, let's try the triangle move. Blizzard. Area of effect, and circle's wall. Alright, that's definitely going to be handy for fighting off incoming attacks.
It's my turn.
And now I'm playing as a different character. Ooh, this one has straight up lance. This one has a jump attack, lance strike, and freaking. Okay, Ace is taking hits, so we're gonna have to be careful here. Let's try to get in for an attack. Oops. So you hit. This has a lock-on mechanic, just like Dark Souls and various other games lately does, which I'm sure was mandatory because it came from the PSP, where there wouldn't be much camera control, so you really need the lock-on for sure. Press square to harvest Phantoma. Collecting Phantoma restores mana points and damages nearby enemies. Alright? So you can farm. You can actually get a resource from your defeated opponents. Alright? So it looks like 9. Is 9 a hardier character out of the people we have here? Let's take a look.
Leave it to me.
350 hit points for Queen. Ace has 230, so Ace is actually the squishiest character we have in this party. Neutralize enemy walls by defeating specific enemies or collecting Phantoma. R1 to lock on target, tilt left stick, right stick, left or right press L2, R2 to switch targets, tilt down to target the closest enemy, tilt up to target fallen enemies or nearby objects. That's a surprising amount of nuance. It might be problematic because I might find myself trying to aim with the right stick, so that might be a little jarring, but being able to have a specific button to target the closest enemy is very good, so I have to remember that. Tilt down. Stand still and recover hit points. Putting away your weapon and with L1 increases the rate at which you recover hit points, but also the amount of damage you take. Press circle while moving to dodge. Oh, that's interesting. So maybe the reason why Ace took so much damage there was because he was not currently in combat mode, so when he got shot, he took extra damage, probably. We'll see how it goes. Start meleeing some dudes. Nice jump attack. Ended up behind him, so he wasn't able to do much to me. As far as comparing this to Dark Souls goes, an important thing to notice is that the lock-on does not affect the direction I'm facing. I'm sure it affects the direction of all of my attacks. Otherwise, I'd be a little frustrated if it didn't. Can I not target him? Oh, right, you have to lock on. There we go. So lock on to take their stuff. Change active leaders with up and down. Depletes the ability gauge. Where's the ability? Oh, it's Or maybe it means press left and right. It's not... When half the buttons are black and half the buttons are blue, it's not entirely clear which one they're saying is the one they're to press, but I think we pressed left and right to switch already, so that must be what they mean. And I think the gauge they're talking about is on the far right. When locked onto a target, a colored mark indicates vulnerability. Attack an enemy with a yellow mark, break sight to deal massive damage. Attack an enemy with a red mark, kill sight to instantly kill the target. So no special things to memorize as far as what type of ability to use, just yellow is vulnerable, red is instant kill. So keep an eye out potentially for people with low stats. My idea here is that, yeah, there we go. That seems to be working. I went for opening with a fire attack at range to hopefully give me a chance to attack with a melee attack while stunning them with that. To start at least. Right, we want to farm for mana points. Enemy leaders are marked with a distinct icon. Defeat the leader to end combat. Is that the leader? That is probably the leader. Alright. Let's just start blasting him with fire attacks perhaps? Uh-oh, okay. So he's doing a, he's launching rocket launcher attacks, and my fire didn't seem to do anything, or did I, oh wait, no, I'm likely out of ability points. So he should be dead here, so we win? That's it? Looks like, I think someone leveled up. So many numbers, so many things popped up at once I didn't get a chance to actually read them, and they're all gone. Remaining enemies start to flee when the leader falls. Approach and press X to force them to surrender and acquire targets. Ah. Wait, that's the leader, isn't it? Oh shit. I was making a mistake here. I was trying to target him. I'm like, that's actually the leader of the enemies. That guy doesn't matter. So apparently there's healing checkpoints. And I think we're out of here. Hold down the assign button to begin casting a spell, then release to attack. For some spells, holding the button longer may result in stronger magic. Maybe they were talking about the does that affect the triangle ability? Oh, I think it does. Alright. Oh, yeah. Lock on with R1 and tilt up on the right stick to target a fallen enemy, and then press square to harvest their Phantomora. Oops. It's definitely gonna take some practice getting used to the idea of press up for this, press down for that. Specific directions on the right stick are not exactly commands I'm used to having. Press the assign button to use a special ability, depletes the ability gauge. Refill the ability gauge by dealing damage to enemies. Okay. By ability gauge, do they mean? I assume they mean the gold icon on the gold gauge on the gauge on the right, because the bottom one it says mana points. Although they're not entirely clear about which ones. They're not really entirely clear about what button they mean is the assigned one. Take the central elevator up to the upper level. So let's try to charge up a fireball and probably one-shot this dude, right? The camera didn't feel like following him apparently. Oh shit, he's still alive. Okay. Shame on you. So press up. No, press down. R1. There we go. This camera's gonna take some practice. There's really weird nuances to how it works.
What the hell?
Oh, okay. Unidentified target.
Yo!
I think we're gonna throw fireballs at it. That seems like a good move. Queen used Cure, so Queen has healing abilities then. Of course, the female character has healing. It is still a Final Fantasy game. I don't think I can attack it directly from here. Or at least none of my fire attacks seem to be connecting. Let's try switching back to Ace.
I got this.
Yeah, I'm back on Ace now. So can I hit, let's see. If I cast a wall, that should probably deflect some incoming attacks. Or nothing will happen. Ow. Oh, shit. That's fairly... Oh, come on. I didn't get a chance to get up. Okay. So what I'm getting a little thrown off about here is that, it just ran away.
What was that?
I'm having some issues with the control... Oh, right. I have to lock on to cast wall, don't I? I was pressing circle and I hadn't locked on, so I think I was dashing around instead. So I think you can only attack when you're locked on in that case. Okay. We'll learn things. This has a completely different control scheme than I think any game I've played before. And you can by the way, the camera, it's hard to explain how it feels, but you can definitely tell that it was originally made for a handheld console. Because it doesn't quite work, but we'll learn to work with it, I think. An arranged arrow... I mean, I don't know why I said arranged. An arrow appears over switches and other important objects. Press X to interact with the object. Yes, okay. I probably could have figured that part out. To be fair, they did ask if I wanted tutorials, and a lot of them have been helpful. It's just some of the stuff like, go click on the thing.
We've spotted the enemy unit! Preparing to engage! Get in position!
I don't necessarily need to be told
Prepare for landing!
You know, to connect with things.
Queen here. What is it?
Just testing the line.
Keep the lines clear of your nonsense.
Nonsense?
What about you?
The operation is proceeding as planned.
Same here. Same. What's your status?
Okay. Everything's buttery smooth over here.
8.
Now!
I'm busy punching people.
Well, sounds like we're on schedule.
It's going to take some practice to get used to the idea that, first of all, that they're apparently just going to talk to me in the middle of a fight. Alright, so as far as I can tell, cut cards is just random, which is weird. So I seem to just draw whatever card it feels like giving me. This camera is going to be a little infuriating until I get used to it. I was trying to target the body, but maybe I can't? Do we have enemies in... Okay, I can probably hit him. Just try shooting at him with cards. There we go, he's down. There's another one? There is. Oh, shit. There's just enemies in every direction. They're immediately putting the camera to the test, apparently. Alright, he's attacking. So does that icon mean he's vulnerable, or does it mean he has an incoming attack? It said yellow and red would be kill shots and stuff like that, but that kind of icon kind of makes me feel like I'm just being about to be attacked. So can I drain that guy? There we go, because he's fallen. Right. So I have ranged attack, so I should be able to wipe out most of these guys from a while away. Does this use any of my mana points? I don't think it does. Nope, it doesn't. Okay. And drain his body for more points back. So let's try cutting cards again. Short stop. Burst. Alright. And see what effect that has. Instant kill. Okay. And they also had the icon pop up that I think means they were vulnerable at that particular moment. We'll go ahead and drain the body. I'm surprised they're throwing 3 characters at us right off the bat.
The counterattack took the Empire by surprise, and the battle seemed to favor the Dominion. Then, 3 hours into the operation, many of the Dominion's airship squadrons had not yet fully achieved their objectives. A lack of experience combined with Imperial counterattacks was jeopardizing the operation. To make matters worse, without access to their most powerful weapon, magic, Rubrum's ground forces suffered severe casualties and were unable to reach their objective, Academia.
Class 0, do you read me? This is Intel. We've located part of the jamming device that's affecting Rubrum.
Use relic terminals to save, reorganize your squad, and check your status.
It's inside the Militesi flagship in the airship docking bay. Head there immediately.
There's a giant dragon just sort of hanging out. It looks like it's the one from the intro. The first jammers on the Empire's flagship head to the airship landing and infiltrate the Imperial flagship, Kupo. They do not list that stuff on screen long enough. Oh well. Let's see. That's a healing spot as a checkpoint, and this will be the save spot, I believe. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and save, and I think this is where we're going to end the first episode. So thanks for watching, guys, like always. I'll see you next time. This is shaping up to be interesting at the very least. The control scheme is something completely different. The combat is just sort of party-based combat, so far it doesn't seem totally crazy, but it might become strange. It might become pretty interesting, and I like the fact that we're actually sort of taking violence and death seriously in this game, where characters are actually, like, immediately we have, like, someone dying in a kind of awful way, and you don't really get to do anything about it. And I'd like to see where this is going, so I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Oh yeah, and check in for videos about the Final Fantasy XV demo, which I'm sure I'll put videos up of today.